Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I'm going to give my review of WWE Smackdown. Also, welcome to your Smackdown post show. Starting off tonight, we have Cody Rhodes coming out to the ring. He greets the fans. Rhodes talks about Rollins. Rhodes also says that he might be Rollins' Achilles heel. Wade Barrett then joining the fans, saying that Seth Rollins is a wanker. Crowd erupted for that. Rhodes then asks Rollins, who is he to him? Rhodes then says Rollins cannot beat him. Couple of things I want to talk about when it pertains to this, man. Number one, the build-up for this matchup between Rollins and Rhodes has been absolutely great. The fact that we've got these video packages, these vignettes, Rollins has somehow incorporated himself in some of the matches that Rhodes has had as of late. Most specifically, the Orton and Rhodes match, the tag team matchup they just had, where Rollins came out of nowhere, hit the foot stomp of Randy Orton, which allowed his team to get the win. There's a lot of hostility here. I told you guys now for the past couple of weeks that these two are on a collision course, and it's all going to take place at this year's Crown Jewel. And the story writes itself. You have two of the top guys in this industry right now, specifically on WWE, that want to be in the top spot. You have someone in Seth Rollins who has the vision, and his own vision, that he sees himself a part of for the next 10, 15 years in WWE. A guy who, according to him, has been a day one guy. You know, he's made comments to Cody Rhodes stating that he never just was here and just went and left and went on to greater pastures of what he thought it was going to be. No, Rollins had stayed through the thick and thin in WWE. And Rollins believes in his heart of hearts that he is the top guy for WWE. And then here comes Cody Rhodes, leaving another company, coming into WWE, and now he's QB1. He's the guy. He's the guy that's carrying this company on his back. He's walking around with the Universal Championship. He is the quarterback of WWE right now. It's everybody gravitates towards Cody Rhodes. So there's some jealousy there from Seth Rollins because Rollins believes that he is the guy. And he is the guy that's, should be taking over WWE. This is the guy that everybody should be looking forward to when it comes to watching WWE's products. So there's obviously a legit story here. And this story stems for a while. I mean, you're looking from Rhodes' first return match at WrestleMania, where he faced off against Seth Rollins, to the fact that it went from that to Rollins incorporating himself and helping Cody Rhodes finish his story, with Rhodes beating Roman Reigns and becoming Universal Champion for the first time. So there's a lot to digest here between Rollins and Cody Rhodes that stemmed for, like I said, since when Rhodes debuted at WrestleMania. But it's also been the fact that Rollins has still yet to beat Rhodes. Rhodes is 3-0 over Seth Rollins. Now, is this something where Rollins is going to roll into Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia, and finally get a win over the Universal Champion in Cody Rhodes? But is Seth Rollins going to get help in facilitating that win at this year's Crown Jewel? Are we going to see maybe Austin Theory help Seth Rollins, and maybe Theory is the next guy to join the division? Are we going to see the likes of Drew McIntyre help Seth Rollins? Are we going to see the likes of Brock Lesnar showing up at Crown Jewel, hitting an F5 on Cody Rhodes, and allowing Seth Rollins to get the win over Rhodes in Crown Jewel? My perception about all this is that this is all leading into War Games. In some kind of capacity, we're going to see a War Games matchup this year with the Vision and Cody Rhodes in some kind of capacity. It could be Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, Reigns, Jey Uso. There's going to be the Vision a part of this year's War Games, and I think a lot of it has to do, and a lot of the build up towards Survivor Series is going to take place at this year's War Games. And I've made comments now for the past couple weeks since this Crown Jewel match was announced between Rollins and Rhodes that we could see the likes of Brock Lesnar or somebody getting involved in this matchup to allow Seth Rollins to secure a win over Cody Rhodes. Because you got to think, man, at the end of the day, Paul Heyman is at the helm of the Vision. He is the guy who's making the decisions for the Vision. And if you know anything about Paul Heyman always is a step ahead. He's always got a plan B. So, again, he's going to make sure that he makes sure that Seth Rollins walks out of Crown Jewel and facilitates a win for Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. So again, this could be something where we're slowly starting getting the build for this year's War Games. So I'm excited for this matchup here between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at this year's Crown Jewel. Moving on from that, we have a Sami Zayn Open Challenge. This has probably been one of the best things going on SmackDown. And the person that answered this Open Challenge was none other than the return of Shinsuke Nakamura. And not only do we get the return of Nakamura, we also get the return of Nakamura's original NXT theme song, which I thought was very interesting and awesome. But the match itself between Zayn and Nakamura, it was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Zayn and Nakamura, with Zayn and Nakamura both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Nakamura was trying to keep the pace of the match, but Zayn hits an exploder suplex on Nakamura into the corner, followed by Zayn hitting another exploder suplex on the outside, sending Nakamura into the barricade. Zayn then hits a haluva kick on Nakamura. Nakamura then gets up, hits a Kinshasa on Zayn for a near fall. Somebody then in a hoodie attacks Nakamura, and that person reveals himself as none other than the returning of Tama Tonga, wearing his New Japan war paint, if you will. His the face paint that he used to wear in New Japan. Well, face paint, war paint, whatever you guys want to call it, when he was the Gorillas of Destiny. After that, the MFTs are here as well. The MFTs attack Zayn and Nakamura, pretty much sending a message to everybody that the MFTs are back. Some interesting stuff there from the MFTs. Moving on from that, we got a tag team matchup. It is Stephanie Vaquer teaming up with Tiffany Stratton, taking on Julia and Kiana James. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with Stephanie and Tiffany keeping the pace of the match, with Tiffany hitting a moonsault off the top rope, landing on Kiana James, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. Hats off to Stephanie and Tiffany for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have the Street Profits taking on the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And again, we get the Street Profits' original theme song from their NXT days. The match itself between the Profits and the Wyatt Six, it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with the Profits trying to keep the pace of the match. Montez Ford hits a blockbuster on the Wyatt Six, followed by B-Fab attacking Nikki. The Wyatt Six, though, end up hitting the finish on the Street Profits, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match, and still WWE Tag Team Champions, are the Wyatt Six. After the match, you can see the Wyatt Six celebrating in the ring. But all of a sudden, the MFTs are here. The MFTs then attack, or get face-to-face with the Wyatt Six. Nikki, especially Nikki, gets in the face of Solo Sikoa, but Solo tells Nikki that he's looking for Uncle Howdy. It looks like the MFTs has some unfinished business with the Wyatt Six. Some interesting stuff there between the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is the main event of Friday Night SmackDown. It is Damian Priest taking on Aleister Black in a last man standing match. The match itself, I thought, was a great match, man. Back and forth matchup between Priest and Aleister Black, with Priest keeping the pace of the match. Aleister then hits a Meteora, sending Priest into the steel steps, followed by Aleister Black hitting Priest with a chair shot. Priest then gets up, hits a chokeslam on Aleister Black, landing on the apron. Priest then hits Razor's Edge, sending Aleister Black over the announce table. Priest then hits another Razor's Edge, again sending Aleister Black over the announce table. Priest and Aleister Black then fight in the crowd. Priest then goes to put another chokeslam possibly on Aleister Black, but all of a sudden, walking through the crowd is Selena Vega. Vega is standing there pleading with Damian Priest. This allows a distraction. Aleister Black then sends a fireball into Damian Priest's face, followed by a black mass. And your winner of the match from a 10 count is Aleister Black. And it looks like we have an on-screen reunion of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. A couple of things I want to talk about with you guys when it pertains to Friday Night SmackDown before I get the hell up out of here. And there's a lot to talk about, man. Number one, I don't know, maybe it's because what I said. I'm not sitting here saying they listen to what I say, but it's kind of funny how, last week when I was talking to you guys about SmackDown, I said that SmackDown is lackadaisical. It's lazy booking. It's a mixture of NXT. It doesn't seem like it has any oomph to SmackDown. Very lackadaisical, very little build. What we got for SmackDown tonight, man, I thought it was a really good show. I'm not sitting here saying that this is going to be something that's going to be ongoing. This might have been, a shot in the pan, if you will. But if this is what we're going to get consistently on SmackDown, I can see SmackDown getting progressively better. I mean, honestly, for what it's worth, I think the best thing going on SmackDown as of late has been Sami Zayn's open challenges. I mean, for the matches he had with Rey Fenix, Javon Evans, John Cena, now most recently the return of Nakamura, and the history that Nakamura has with Sami Zayn. I mean, Zayn is really putting this show on his back. He really is. I mean, the open challenges for the U.S. title has been the best thing going on Friday Night SmackDown. Until we got to tonight. We got the open challenge with Nakamura answering that challenge. So we get the return of Nakamura. We get the return of old theme songs with the Street Profits and some other talent that were showing up tonight on SmackDown. We also get the return of Tama Tonga and the MFTs. And not only do we get the return of Tama Tonga, but we get the return of Tama Tonga in the so-called war paint or face paint from his days that he's had in New Japan with he was teaming with his Tongaloa or Tonga Tonga as the Gorillas of Destiny. Now, I would love for them to have that theme song from what they had in New Japan. I thought it was a great theme song for the Gorillas of Destiny, and hopefully that does happen. I mean, obviously there's been some speculation here with some talents not happy with some of the entrance themes that they've had as of late, and that's why some talent as of tonight got their old school NXT themes like the Street Profits and Nakamura. So the MFTs were a main vocal point of tonight's show. They showed up. They had beat the shit out of Nakamura. They beat the shit out of Sami Zayn. And then we get a face-to-face altercation between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. Now, obviously there's going to be a build-up here for these two teams leading into a match. Now, I'm not sitting here saying this is going to take place in Survivor Series, but there's definitely something going to happen here between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. Now, I mentioned this about Monday Night Raw, and it was a hot take for a lot of people. But I stand on business with this, man. I think the entire bloodline in itself, and I'm not just talking about Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jay. I'm talking about what we're also seeing with the MFTs and Solo Sikoa. It's going to get better like a fine wine. And now that we got the return of Tama Tonga, the MFTs are stronger than ever. They come back wearing this war paint or face paint. This is a new dark side of the MFTs, a more grungier side of the MFTs, a more evil, sinister side of the MFTs. We got the return of Tama Tonga as well. So, I mean, they're as strong as ever, man. This is going to be a stable that's going to run SmackDown from top to bottom. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Obviously, like I said, it looks like we're going to get a matchup between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. I'm definitely looking forward to that. We hear Solo Sikoa saying that he's looking forward to talking to Uncle Howdy. I'm all for it. I think it's going to be a really good match. I think it's going to be a high-profile matchup to see, and it's going to be something that's going to be very telling how that storyline is going to play out between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. I also touch base on the returning themes. I think it's a great idea, man. I mean, a lot of these people that wrestle for WWE, they get so-called Def Rebelled. This music group that came into WWE that made these theme songs for certain talents that are just absolutely fucking awful. And some of these talents spoke up and said, hey, man, I don't want to be, so quote-unquote Def Rebelled. I want my original theme song. And a theme song, believe it or not, it's everything for a superstar. It's a big deal. It makes up what their DNA is in professional wrestling. So a lot of these people didn't want to have the Def Rebel theme song because not for nothing, they make horrible theme songs for talent on WWE. It's horrible. I'm happy that we got the original Street Profits theme. We got Nakamura's old theme. Maybe some other superstars will request to have their old theme back as well. I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. We had Cody Rhodes open the show. I thought Cody has done a fantastic job as well as Seth Rollins for the build leading up to this matchup at Crown Jewel. I mean, you can't ask for a better match than this. Like I said before, man, these two guys are at the pinnacle of their game right now. They're at the top of their game. They're, looking to be the number one guy in WWE, and what better way to solve that and to figure that out than have a match at Crown Jewel. I think it's going to be a great match. I think there's going to be a lot going on in that match. We could see the likes of Brock Lesnar. I know there's been rumors of speculation of a fourth member added to the Vision. A lot of people are pointing the finger towards Austin Theory, which we haven't seen in quite some time. We know that he's not teaming up no longer with Grayson Waller. I think Theory being added to this possible stable with the Vision with Braun Breaker, Reed, and Seth Rollins, I think would be great for Austin Theory. I think Theory needs to get the hell away from Grayson Waller. I think Waller's a sinking ship at this point. Theory has a lot of potential, and having Theory under the likes of a Paul Heyman and a Seth Rollins, Austin Theory can be the next guy. And it looks like Paul Heyman does have a vision. Paul Heyman's vision with this stable is building the future generation to come for WWE. Like he says about Braun Breaker, these are guys in Breaker and Bronson Reed that are going to be headlining WrestleManias for years to come. And Theory, with him still being young in the game, he still has a lot of time to be a main event guy and could headline main events in WrestleMania for years to come. And having someone with the likes of Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins and having that knowledge, I mean, it's only going to make Austin Theory a hell of a lot better. And then Theory coming in as a heel, a strong heel at that, it's going to open up a lot more doors for Austin Theory. So if Theory is the guy, I'm all for it. If Theory can come out in Crown Jewel and help Seth Rollins facilitate a win, I'm all for it. Because the way this is shaping up, I mean, like I said, man, the way they're building this matchup, I think also has a lot to do with War Games. We're going to see Division in some kind of capacity at Survivor Series. Most likely at a War Games matchup where on the other side of the fence you got Roman, you got Jay, maybe Jimmy. There's been speculation and rumors about Jacob Fatu, CM Punk, or Cody Rhodes. I mean, I think this year's War Games matchup is going to be absolutely insane, with Division being at the center point of that War Games matchup. Brock Lesnar is also waiting in the balance. It's going to be very telling to see what happens after Crown Jewel. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Other things I want to talk to you guys that's kind of not really related to what's going on with WWE as of late. So if you guys, you know, you guys that show up for the podcast and you listen to the podcast, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, number one, I'm very, very grateful that you guys do. It means the world to me. For those who checked out the YouTube video that I did for Monday Night Raw, thank you guys so much, man. It means the absolute world to me that you guys actually watch my show. You guys like the show seemingly, and it means the world to me and my family. So I want to get that out. I want to say that first and foremost, that I do appreciate that a lot. It means a lot. It means the world to me. But what I will say is this: unfortunately, with what's been going on for some reason with the podcast, you know, I was not able to upload the Dynamite episode of this week. I was having a lot of issues with Spotify for some reason. I was not able to upload the episode. I was dealing with issues with Spotify. I was emailing them back and forth trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Hopefully I figured that out and we can get back on the audio side of things with Spotify. But it's going to be a give and take kind of thing for right now until I figure out exactly what's going on. They're trying to figure it out as well. And I've been emailing them back and forth. So for those who are wondering, hey man, where's the Dynamite episode? Well, unfortunately I ran into some technical difficulties with Spotify. And unfortunately, that episode of Dynamite did not go out, and it probably will never go out, which is unfortunate, man, because I take pride in what I do here. As if you guys can't tell, I work I work to the bone trying to get this stuff out to you guys and put out these episodes and these podcasts and stuff like that, these episodes for you guys. So that was kind of deflating for me a little bit, to be honest with you. So this is what's going to be going on for the near future. Am I going to still be putting episodes out? Yes. This is not an end to the podcast. So for you guys that, you know, the ones out there that love this podcast that are freaking out like, oh my God, this guy might be done. We ain't done by a long shot. By a long shot, man. I'm here for the long haul, whether people like it or not. But I want to let you guys know, and I want to be upfront and honest with you guys, that I have been running into some issues, some technical difficulties, specifically on the Spotify side, which I'm not really happy about. So I want to let you guys know that. And like I said, I want to be upfront and honest, just like I do with every single episode that I put out for you guys, and be 100% transparent with you guys. But so I ran into some issues with Spotify, and I'm trying to figure that out. Like I said, I've been emailing them back and forth, trying to figure out what's going on. YouTube, again, YouTube's going to be kind of murky as well. Like I said, for some reason, dealing with technical issues, it's on the same thing with the YouTube front. Obviously, Crown Jewel is this weekend. I will be doing my very best to give you guys a review on that. That review most likely will take place Sunday morning or Sunday midday. I got something going on Saturday, so I probably won't be able to upload it on Saturday afternoon, but there will be an upload, hell or high water, for Crown Jewel. I'm definitely looking forward to that event. I think the event is going to be great from top to bottom. I think it's going to surpass, definitely, WrestlePalooza, and I can't wait to see what ESPN gives a grade of on as far as a grade for Crown Jewel that's coming up this weekend. But I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on, man. I mean, I want to be upfront and honest with you guys, just like I've been since day one. And 100% transparent. Like I said, Spotify, like I mentioned a couple of times now, I've been emailing them back and forth, but it's been a grade A pain in my ass. Especially even the YouTube side of things, it's been also a grade A pain in my ass. But I don't quit. I don't give up. And we're going to keep pushing forward and moving forward with these episodes and this podcast. And like I said, for those who are worried that I might be, taking some time off, that ain't happening. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Just dealing with this ridiculous technical difficulties from both Spotify and YouTube for some apparent reason. But like I said, I want to be transparent with you guys and upfront and honest. And like I mentioned earlier, a couple minutes ago, I do appreciate what you guys are doing for, watching the YouTube videos at Spotify. I mean, it means the world to me and my family. And I don't think I show my gratitude enough to you guys that, the ones that check out the podcast and watch, whether it's a YouTube video or Spotify, man, it means the absolute world to me that you guys come here, you guys like the podcast, whether you guys are here for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long you guys have. It means the world to me that some of you guys out here take time out of your day to check out what I got to say or hear me rambling on about WWE. I take this very seriously. Very seriously. And I've spent a lot of time, effort, sacrificed a lot to do what I'm doing with this podcast because it means the world to me. Like I told you guys, man, if you guys don't know some of my backstory, I mean, I've watched pro wrestling since I was a kid. And a lot of fans out there and other podcasters have the same kind of story. You know what I mean? We've all watched wrestling. I mean, wrestling to me was my safe place, man. And the childhood that I had and growing up and all the chaos that I had to go through as a kid, man, wrestling was always the one thing that was an escape for me. And I told you guys before, like my younger sister, I mean, she still watches wrestling, man. She's watched wrestling since she was a baby. And partially that's my fault because, I mean, she would be literally playing in her bassinet and I'd be watching pro wrestling. You know what I mean? And she goes to independent shows. She watches Raw and Smackdown every single day. AEW. She'll call me and say, "Oh, I went to this show or I went to that show." It runs deep in my family, which might be bizarre to a lot of people, and that's fine. That you guys have your opinion, you're entitled to it. But I mean, I've watched wrestling since I was a kid, man. I've had stories about wrestlers from my grandpa who meant the world to me, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us anymore. But I mean, he would share stories with me all the time, man. From the times that he would talk about Andre and going down to the Armory to watch wrestling and stuff like that, and talking about like Buddy Rogers and Andre the Giant and Luthez and all these different wrestlers. Which at the time, when you're a kid, I mean, I didn't really know much about these guys because you weren't really seeing them on TV. But I didn't really understand it until I got older and realized that when my grandpa was watching wrestling, these were some of the top guys that he was watching. Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, like I said, Luthez, Buddy Rogers. You know what I mean? Like, and then seeing and hearing how excited he was to watch it. And, to go to these shows back in the day and watch some of these wrestlers wrestle, man. So, I mean, it runs deep in my family. My grandparents, me, my mom. You know what I mean? Like, they've all watched wrestling. My brother, maybe not so much my other brother, but my one brother, I mean, he was a huge Rey Mysterio fan. So it runs deep with me, man. And this is something where, when I do this podcast, I mean, look, at the end of the day, guys, I mean, I watch these shows. I've been watching AEW since the very beginning. You know what I mean? And when I met my wife, I mean, at the time, she didn't know that much about wrestling. To be honest with you, to be fully transparent with you guys, my wife didn't really know much about wrestling. And I got her invested watching wrestling with two different companies. And it wasn't even Raw or Smackdown, man. To be honest with you guys, it was NXT Black and Gold, which is one of the best times I've ever had watching pro wrestling. And old school, not even old school, but when NWA was being showcased on YouTube on Tuesdays at 6:05. When Billy Corgan bought the company and he was showcasing NWA on Tuesday nights at 6:05 p.m. and we would watch pro wrestling as a family. Me and my wife would have dinner and we watch NWA or we watch NXT. I mean, we love the takeovers. You know what I mean? And now, she's becoming more of a fan of pro wrestling. She has her favorites, most notably in AEW, some in WWE. You know what I mean? She loves Rhea Ripley. She's a big fan of Willow Nightingale. She loves Thunder Rosa. You know what I mean? She loves the Jurassic Express. You know what I mean? So she's a newer fan. So it's just, give her a little bit of credit. She's still learning. But what I'm trying to tell you guys, man, is, it's one of those things where, for me and my family, it was always one thing that for me was an escape. For me, when I was a kid growing up, just all the chaos. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I had it the worst or anything else like that, but I'm not going to sit here and say I had it the easiest either. I mean, there was chaos, me growing up and stuff like that. And wrestling was always the escape. There was always either wrestling or music. And those two just kind of gelled together, man. And it was something that was always an escape for me. And do I use that escape to this day? No. But it's not. It's nice to actually shut off from the real world for a minute and just kind of like tune out. You know what I mean? And with me and my wife, man, we watch wrestling every single pay-per-view. I always do an upload for you guys, and my wife is right there with me watching them. You know what I mean? And she loves it just as much as I do. So this is what I'm trying to say, is that this podcast is not just what I do just for something to do. I mean, this means the world to me. And I want to build a community with you guys, to build a community for this podcast. You know what I mean? The classic crew, if you will. And that's y'all. I mean, without y'all, man, I wouldn't be here. Without y'all, this podcast really wouldn't exist. And I wanted to show my gratitude towards you guys, and how much it means to me for you guys to view my podcast, and to, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. It means the world to me, man, because it tells me that you guys love the show, or you like the show, and you want to hear my opinion about certain topics in professional wrestling, whether you like it or not. But at least with my podcast, it's 100% realism. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit for nobody. I'm not here for clicks. I'm not here to rub shoulders with these people. And I made it abundantly clear at this point. You know what I mean? What you see is what you get. But, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't want to talk y'all's ear off, man. But, with what I mentioned earlier with the podcast, as of right now, it's going to be kind of a flip-flop game right now, to be honest with you, just because I'm having technical difficulties from YouTube and Smackdown. But I'm trying to do my best to figure it out. Doesn't mean the podcast is coming to an end or anything else like that, just dealing with some technical difficulties. And that's about it. So, like I said, for those wondering, hey man, where's the Dynamite episode at? Unfortunately, that's not going to be uploaded. Dealing with a lot of technical difficulties, and unfortunately that didn't make the cut. But we're going to do a Crown Jewel review. We're going to keep things rolling as usual. I'm just letting you guys know what's been going on and the shit that I've been dealing with as of late when it pertains to Spotify and YouTube. That's been, like I said, a grade A pain in my ass. But we're trying to figure it out. But I'm not going anywhere by any stretch of the means. This podcast is going to be around for a very long time. And like I said, man, we're just getting started, folks. Just getting started. This thing, we're going to elevate this thing to a whole tenfold going into next year. It's going to be insane. I have a lot of plans with this. And we're going to add more shows. We're going to do a lot more with the podcast. But like I said, I just wanted to be transparent with you guys, letting you know what was going on my side, on my end. And like I said, I've been dealing with some Spotify and YouTube issues that I'm trying to clear up and fix so we can keep the ball rolling. But besides all that mumbo-jumbo stuff, man, we're here for SmackDown. And like I said, SmackDown was not a bad show. Could it have been better? Sure. But I would go on a limb and say this is probably one of the best SmackDowns I've seen in some months, to be honest with you. I think Zayn has been the MVP of SmackDown as of late with these open challenges. The Aleister Black and Damian Priest last man standing match, top notch. Top notch. And, if you guys go back and watch some of my earlier episodes when Aleister Black was going to be coming back to WWE, I even mentioned, and I know I did multiple times, that I would love to see some kind of storyline angle here between Priest and Aleister Black, and it's been successful as of late. And this last man standing match was icing on the cake. This was a really good match, and now we incorporated Zelina Vega into this storyline here between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. So what is Zelina Vega going to do now with Aleister Black? Is she going to be the spokesperson for Aleister Black? Is she joining Aleister Black? Because now for nothing, yeah, I've been kind of, hard on Zelina Vega as far as what she's done in the ring. Maybe she can be a manager at Aleister Black. Maybe they can kind of incorporate a real-life angle here between Aleister Black and Zelina Vega that might actually be worth it, and it might pay off. I'm all for it. We get Cody Rhodes to open the show, like I mentioned earlier, hyping up the matchup between himself and Seth Rollins. It's going to be incredible, man. I think Crown Jewel is definitely going to surpass what we saw at WrestlePalooza, because WrestlePalooza, to me, was a fucking joke. I'm sorry. I mean, if anybody out there that thought WrestlePalooza was really that good, dude. And for those, the people out there that were chewing that, pissed off at that guy who put that article out for ESPN, I don't blame the guy for putting that article out, man. I would have gave it a C, maybe a C minus at best. It wasn't that great of a show. And honestly, on paper, it's a shame because you had some top quality matches for that card. I mean, you have AJ Lee's in-ring debut, teaming up with CM Punk to take on Rollins and Becky Lynch. You had Stephanie and Io Sky. You also had John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and that Lesnar-John Cena match turned into a glorified 10-minute squash, which is insane, bro. I mean, we haven't seen John Cena since then. I mean, we got AJ Styles versus John Cena at this year's Crown Jewel, bro, and not for nothing, this match was made out of thin air. That match was literally made from Twitter because the fans wanted this matchup. And there's been no rebuttal from from John Cena. Everything we got so far leading up to this match has been all on AJ Styles because of limited dates that John Cena had. So, they're going to lay everything out on the table at Crown Jewel. But has there been is it a strong build? I can't say that it has been. They're saving the dates for John until we get to December at Saturday Night's Main Event in D.C. What's going to be next for John? I have no idea, man. I mean, for me, my predictions for John's last opponent would be Gunther in DC. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be Gunther. We have not seen Gunther in quite some time. I think Gunther is going to be the guy that's going to be John's last opponent, to be honest with you. Because the thing with John at this point after AJ Styles, you would really have to ask yourself, what if he has remaining dates left, which I'm assuming he does after Styles, who's going to be next for John Cena? Some people are even pointing towards Dominic Mysterio. It's a possibility. So you really have to ask yourself, after Styles, who's next for John? And again, whoever it's going to be, it's going to be very limited build because we're not going to see John Cena on Raw or if not on SmackDown to help build towards a matchup that John's going to have. So it's going to be very interesting leading up to John's final match before he rides off into the sunset, which takes place, I believe, sometime early to mid-December. So I don't know, man. We still got all the rest of October. We still have all the rest of November. It's going to be very telling to see who's going to face John Cena next after AJ Styles, if that does, in fact, happen. But again, I mean, SmackDown wasn't that bad. I know for a fact from what I've heard, they're doing a lot more different things with creative. I know Road Dogg is the main writer or booker for SmackDown, and they're trying to build some kind of creative team around him. Look, man, if what we got tonight is any indication for the future of SmackDown, I'm not against it. I think this is probably one of the best SmackDowns we've seen in months, and I'm looking forward to it. We also saw Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu having a little back-and-forth banter and attack backstage on SmackDown tonight. Obviously, there's going to be a matchup there between McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. I know Jacob Fatu also approached Cody Rhodes backstage as well, and he told Rhodes that he's got his eyes set on that Universal Championship, so I'm not against seeing Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes either. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out if we're going to be looking at both these guys leading into War Games and for Survivor Series in November. So it's going to be very telling, man. But like I said, it wasn't a bad SmackDown. And like I said, I mean, I wanted to be transparent with you guys, let you guys know what was going on. That way you guys weren't confused. But like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just dealing with some technical difficulties right now from both Spotify and YouTube. But we're going to keep it pushing. And like I said, man, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But just want to let you guys know what was going on, and I appreciate you guys checking out the podcast and stuff like that on YouTube, and if not on Spotify. It's awesome, man. It means the world to me and my family, so we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. And again, I'm very, very grateful that you guys check out this podcast, man. Like I said, it means the world to me. But with that being said, this is my review of Friday Night SmackDown. I hope you guys are out there